50 yards to a short-sided pin off a wet bare lie.
Oh. Good. That's almost going to go...
I just read tie spinner. We've got to save that till last, I reckon. Yeah. Right, so we're at Camberwell Park today. I'm with Steve Surry, and what we're going to do in this video is get into difficult lies around the green. So I think this is probably going to be quite a long video, but there's going to be a load of value. And if you're serious about getting better at golf, it's all well and good having, you know, the basics for how to play chip shots and bunker shots, but when you're out on the golf course, you just constantly come up with awkward situations, and it's those situations where if you don't know what to do, then you're gonna struggle. So I know I'm really looking forward to being a part of this because I'm going to learn a lot. But I put a post out on the community on YouTube yesterday and just asked you what are the lies that you struggle with the most. So I've got loads that we're going to go through with the main man, Stevie Surry.
Try and point you in the right direction.
Yeah, and we're at Camberwell Park, the best short game facility that you'll see pretty much in the UK.
Glad you clarified that. I did see someone said they've been to Augusta. Did you see that comment or not? Not the best one I've seen because I've been to Augusta.
I don't even know if he'd been to Augusta or he'd just seen it on the Masters warm-up.
Yeah, this is a bit more accessible than Augusta, I'd say.
Right, so we're going to start with Scott Chalk 7808, and he's put thick rough just off the green. I either knife it through or stab it, and it goes 3 inches. So we're going to start with that. So just thick rough off the green. He hasn't stipulated whether a lot of green to work with. It's just how to play out of a thick rough lie, basically. Yeah, the beauty of this chipping area is you do have quite a lot of variability in slopes, lies, bunkers, and obviously the green complex is huge.
Yeah,
so
you can pretty much do anything.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be able to do this while I practice at home. That's for sure. So thick lies just off the green.
So firstly, I'll say club choice is important. A lot of guys I play with will only chip with, not most confident chippers, a chip with not a lot of loft. And then you're setting yourself up. So if we go to this left-hand one, we've got a pitch and wedge here. It's probably not quite enough loft. So for me to play a good shot without enough loft, I'm going to have to swing it quite slow. It's going to come out dead. It's not going to get there. And generally guys would be, certainly in this case, sounds like he's trying to help the ball up in the air. Where then you're going to try and get it up in the air. Get the old fins.
Yeah.
I go for my most lofted.
60
degree. I'll try and get a lot of weight on my left hand side. I want to feel like I'm hitting down, and I'm not trying to get on the back of the ball. So that's replicating like a
so
lot
plenty
of grass
of rough
between club head and ball.
Yeah,
I don't want to try and
get
club head into the ball. I'm going to hit the grass 2 inches behind, a bit more speed. And really just hit down, no effort to try and get the ball up in the air. Weight on the left hand side, and just try and play it reasonably aggressively with a lot of loft.
Yeah.
If you're chipping with if you thin a few with a lot of loft and then you start getting your 8 and 9 irons out, your good shot's almost going to go a mile past because you need too much speed to get through the grass. Ball's going to come off too hot, and then you hit a good shot, then you panic and you start de-accelerating. And so I wouldn't be afraid to get the ball probably further forward almost. That's going to help me hit a lot of this grass. Because if you try and get it too far back, trying to get the club face on the ball, that's when, that was actually quite good, but that's when you're going to get a few fats and thins.
Yeah.
Because you're just coming in too steep. You know, I'm sure loads of people see like that one there where I'm balls back and I'm trying to dig down.
I think people have seen that on this channel.
Yeah, he's displayed it.
Do you want to swap? So yeah, what I'm getting from you there is, so essentially you're not trying to get down to the golf ball. I think that's like the biggest problem that golfers have. They'll try and get down to the golf ball, and then it's like you're basically either going to strike it and it's going to go miles, or you're going to fat it.
Yeah.
So almost like hands not forward, but
yeah, you can get your weight forward, but also get the ball forward.
Yeah, weight forward.
The goal here is to collect 3 or 4 inches of grass behind it and use that as the cushion.
And that's actually quite a liberating feeling, isn't it? Because then you can just be like, right, I've got all I'm trying to do is move quite a lot of grass.
Yeah, you've got a big room for error to get an okay strike.
Yeah. and then it pops out quite nice. I'll try and actually hit one to this flag. So sat down, ball forward, chest forward.
That's it.
And then I need to keep the speed up a bit more.
Yeah.
So just a lot of speed.
I would say there you looked like you were waiting for the strike.
Yeah.
I'd view it much more, I'm swinging it this length and this speed. Because strike's going to be slightly variable. Keep turning a bit more. That's better.
Yeah.
And I'd use your practice swings. Judge how quick the club's going through the grass.
To get a feel for the grass.
Sometimes you're like, oh, that's actually quite claggy, or sometimes you're like, oh, that slides through.
Yep.
In which case I'd be like, okay, I don't need to, I can swing this a bit harder, it's going to cushion it more, or right, I can take some speed off because it's a bit down grain or whatever, it's going to glide through, or the grass is dry.
So the key thing is lots of speed through the rough, and you're not trying to get down to that ball. You're just trying to move the grass. Ball's sort of like in there.
Yeah,
somewhere.
use the grass to your benefit, not try and get club face on ball.
Perfect. Right, up next we got one that Steve wants to try and pronounce.
I can't remember what his name.
Pierce Delagi.
Pierce Delagi and Joe Roach.
Both asked the same question.
Yeah.
Perfect. So
compact lies or not much sand in a bunker, which are pretty similar sort of answers. So here we got this soaking wet bunkers. It's going to be quite firm.
Yeah.
So as opposed to playing a normal bunker shot where I'd have the face open a lot, ball forward, hands back, where here I'd run a chance of the club bouncing up into the ball and catching it thin. I play the ball further back. Yeah, so as opposed to up there, I move it sort of inch or two further back, lean more into my left hand side. And I think with bunkers, you've got to think of the questions you're being asked. So I'm trying to get the sharpest point of the club, the heel of the club, get that leaning forward.
Yep.
And like my task, certainly if there's no sand, sort of like the question I'm being asked is I've got to get the leading edge under the ball.
Yep.
So I'd either not open the face so much, and I'll start leaning forward, try and get my angle of attack a bit steeper. If I don't want to be too, certainly there's no sand, too shallow, I've got to try and get that leading edge up and down and under the ball. And I just picture I try and leave the club in the sand.
Okay.
So I'll try and...
Yes.
Right, that's quite
really
a big
well
effort
played.
to dig down and quite a deep divot there. Whereas if I play it normally, so with that ball a long way forward,
Yeah.
that way
The bounce hits.
it's just not got deep enough into the sand, the bank's bounced up, and I've thinned the ball, but not through the bunker condition, through me not putting in the right ingredients.
Yep. Can you show us again from front on? The one you're actually trying to do, the first one. So ball a bit further back, lean forward, weight forward.
And I'd picture I'm trying to get left-sided, up and steep, trying to get that leading edge.
Yeah, that's really nice. Obviously this is like a 20-30 up bunk shot if you actually get into the flag, so that's probably the shot that you want to play. Just popping it over the lip.
Yeah, something around the 10-yard bunker shots.
Yeah.
Like if you're practicing, I would always just practice like 10 to 15 yards is going to be the longest bunker shots you're generally going to face. You're not going to have many 25, 30 yarders.
No, you try not to, don't you?
Yeah, try and avoid those.
Yeah, so like if you watch the last chip in short game video, I was struggling from lots of sand and near the top of the lip, and the ingredient for that is as much bounce as possible and a bit more shallow to try not to get the club in the ground, but obviously complete opposite.
Someone did ask about fluffy sand, lots of sand. That's where I'd probably go down.
Who was it that asked? Hang on, I want to include everyone in this, right? Because I put out the question on the community, so I really want to get you all involved in this video. So that's why I'm just wanting to get your name in there, and we can also listen to Steve trying to pronounce some of the names.
All right. Well, Barley Straw asked for different type of bunker shots. It's Joe Roach. How to hit bunker shots from bare lies compared to lots of sand. So if you've got lots of sand there, I would probably change. Certainly if it's got sort of bunkers and new sand in it, it's generally going to be really fluffy. I'd go down to my 54 or 56, whatever your... If I use my 56 out of a bunker for that shot, I'm going to go down to my 52, 50, ball slightly further forward, probably open the face a bit more, because there we're being asked to use the banks a lot more.
Yep.
try and get a little bit shallower through it, as opposed to that first one was up and steep.
Yep.
On the wet bare lies, this will be a bit more rounded and a bit of a wider arc.
Right. So yeah, you're telling me earlier about, so the lower lofted wedges, they'll just naturally have a lot more bounce, won't they? If you
a lot
open
less
them
relief
up,
and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So if you open them up, they present a lot more bounce.
Yeah.
Basically.
Hence why you don't get a 52 with 14 degrees of bounce, because they generally have no relief. So if you did open it up a lot, there's already a load of bounce on there. Don't buy in too much of the number that's on the bounce.
Yeah.
Is what I'd say.
Yeah. Right. So there's a really good bit of advice, and that's definitely a way you should look into practicing as well. I know I don't do this enough. I'm sure we all do the same thing, right? You put some balls down in the bunker, you rake it. It's really nice. You have the perfect sand depth, and you just try and hit shots from that lie. But I know I'm guilty of this. I don't go, right, so how do I actually play this tight lie? Let's make this really difficult. Let's dump a load of sand in. Let's figure out how I can actually play this one as well.
Yeah. A lot of people say the bunkers are bad, or conditions around the greens are bad, whereas I'm like, you're just learning how to play them.
Yeah.
So it's asking you different questions, that's all it's doing. And sometimes the answer will be harder, and your expectations of, if you're short-sided with no sand in the bunker, it's like, well, 10, 15, 20 feet past, for me, I would take that. Whereas if it's quite easy sand to produce a high soft shot, 5-10 yard bunker shot's quite easy. But
Yeah.
if the two don't match up, then it becomes a hard shot.
Yeah. Set your expectations as such. Right then, what else have we got here? Right, so we're going to get onto the short-sided shots now. But there's one more as well, which we've already referenced. So Ben Everingham said 5 to 10 yards out of green side rough, which we essentially did with this one earlier. So just wanted to get you in there, Ben. Now we will try. So yeah, Jimmy Jammer pace, short-sided, small amount of green to work with. I just read tie spinner. We've got to save that till last, I reckon.
I do one short-sided, soft-landed shots, not flops though.
Okay.
And then Ben, did you say Ben Everingham, 5 to 10 yards? We did that
With the rough, yeah.
So we want to do...
So short-sided, and should we do short-sided rough and short-sided fairway?
We'll do short-sided rough and then short-sided off a bare lie.
Yeah. Well, this is a perfect example here. So playing onto a downslope, let's imagine, for argument's sake, we're playing US Open conditions, and this is just thick rough. You can't play through it. You've got to get this ball landing on the green. Of course, expectations have got to come in to play here as well, right?
Yeah, firstly, you would think, if I had that and that was all rough, I'm probably aiming to get it 10, 15 feet past. Then if it comes out soft and I hit it close, brilliant. Whereas if I'm trying to get it close and it comes out soft, I'm faced with the same chip again, which is a disaster.
Yep.
So you've got to think what questions you're being asked. So if it's sat down in the rough, certainly short-sided, it's right, I need speed to get club head through rough, and I need speed to get elevation on the ball. The more speed we put in, on that launch angle, the higher the ball's going to get its peak height, which in terms of stopping the ball, that's what we need. So similar to the other shot, I'm going to play ball quite a long way forward, club face massively open.
Okay.
If it's sat down, if it's sat up a little bit, I might go to a 56 to try and get a little bit more bounce.
Okay. So your 56, when you open it, has got more bounce.
Yeah, it's going to have more bounce than my lob wedge.
Yeah.
If it's sat down, lob wedge, ball forward, weight forward, hands back a little bit. I'm trying to make what I'd say is like a long aggressive swing, but without quick acceleration.
Okay.
So most amateurs, you ask them to accelerate, it'd be like that was loads of acceleration in a real short period.
That was aggressive.
Ball's gone miles. Don't have a clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
Whereas you want to try and get a sort of a slow acceleration, let it build up. Just slide the club under. Might have still caught in the rough there. But trying to get that club sliding through the grass and just keep the club accelerating rather than try and accelerate as quickly as I can.
Because when they don't take it back very far and they get really aggressive on it, it's likely they're just going to leave it in the ground, right?
That's where you're going to get leading edge stuck in the ground, or we're going to catch a few thin.
Yeah.
But then also do weigh up the lie and read sort of how thick the grass is. If it's, say here where I've had a couple of swings, because the grass is all growing that way, I wouldn't need really much speed to get that club head through that grass.
Yeah.
Whereas Back here, if I do that motion, I'm going to lose loads of speed.
Yeah.
So really, is the grass going with you or against you? And try and visualise how high up in the grass it is.
Yeah.
It's sat right on the... I can still have grass behind it, but there is quite a long way off the...
yeah, there's a lot of...
the actual base of the ground.
Yeah.
So if I went for the same strategy there, I'd probably go straight under it, because I've misjudged how close the bottom of the ball is to the ground.
So at that point...
That's where I'd probably go with my 56.
Yeah. Because you've got way more bounce,
Bit
and
more
you'd play
bounce.
square-faced, more square-faced, hands back.
I'd probably open it up a little bit, but I'd also say little things like grip down it. If it's sat right at the bottom, I'd hold it here.
Okay.
So now if I just move that an inch or two down the grip, that's just bringing the club closer to me, further off the ground.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
As
Not
opposed
thought of
to,
that
if the
before.
ball was sat right up here, then I would just grip it right down there
Yeah,
and make
yeah.
my normal sort of motion.
Yeah.
Because the risk here is, right, I could go straight under this. So it's finding the balance point. But I'd use my practice swings for always trying to hit, right, I'm actually hitting the bottom of the ground there. I know that ball's probably 2 inches away from actually hitting the mud.
Yeah.
Because that does change how you play the shot.
Yeah.
And if it's sat up, I'd try and get a little bit wider, as opposed to sat down would be a bit steeper. There, I know I can get nice and wide because I want that club travelling level with that ground for as long as possible.
Yeah.
If I got...
Hold on. Flowers, new job, mate.
Yeah, so there I'd picture I'm trying to get that club nice and wide and sliding along the top of that grass for a long time.
Yeah, okay. Rather than going
When
like
it's-
that,
Yeah.
it's like that.
If it's now sat down on the bottom, I'm a bit more, right, I need to make sure I do hit the bottom.
You need to
the
get
ball
down
up
in
the air.
there. Yeah. Can I try these?
Let's get in there. So go off, I got a couple more here, mate.
What's this?
I was carrying my pitching wedge around for some unknown reason.
Right, so we go in.
If you go sat down, again, the question of the acceleration doesn't need to be a real quick, short, sharp acceleration.
The club stays moving through the rough.
Yeah.
So, talk me through that then.
So, ball forward,
Pull forward.
weight on the left-hand side,
Yep.
not too much shaft lean because we're looking to use the bounce here and hit the bottom of the ground.
Yep. Club open.
Club face wide open as
Wide.
long as it's sat on the bottom of the on the ground. Just keep that club moving. Okay, so it's a bit too much acceleration.
Too much. And that actually come out.
But that's where I'd use your practice swings. Guess, try and feel how quick the club's going through the grass.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not really, there's not much friction there.
No,
So it means just down the speed a bit,
yeah,
open the face up, and just strike it straight off the meat.
go on, get that follow through a bit longer and softer.
Yeah.
You know, like we did the other week on those more floppy shots,
Yeah.
because there you're going to like a real abrupt stop.
Yeah.
View it more like you're going to toss it underarm to me.
Is that to help with the club actually releasing underneath?
Yeah, because you're just getting a bit too much shaft lean.
Okay.
That's better.
Yeah, that's such a difference. Honestly, that's massive.
It's like a
I think the more acceleration,
A soft accelerated swing is what I think of these sort of short rough shots as.
Yeah.
It's not a blast it out,
it makes sense though, because
but you don't want to go long and
the
de-accelerate.
more you try and hold, like, stop there,
Yeah.
obviously the more lead.
Yeah, because when you see the guys where it's stopped and their hands are in front, that's just because the rough stopped the club. That's not them. Try and picture you keep the club moving at the same speed all the way through almost. That's good. So go a bit further forward. Bit slower swing speed or slower tempo. So I visualise, right, how hard would I hit it if I was trying to get it close to the flag? I would probably swing it quick enough like I would off a fairway lie for it to land in the hole. Then I'm going to lose 40% of the distance because of the rough, and it should land just over the fringe.
Yeah, and that shot there, pretty acceptable, right?
Yeah, because you'd be happy 10, 15 feet past. You
essentially
wouldn't be looking to get this up and down.
You want to look for par, but you don't want to...
Yeah, your pars want to be the ones where, it's come out a little bit soft, or I've hit it a little bit high at the face.
Yeah.
And it's come out dead.
Right, next up we got John YX3XC. Uphill lie into an elevated green. And if anyone else has asked for an uphill lie, I can't actually see it in the comments, so I apologise. But this is also something that I really struggle with because I go too much this way and reduce the margin for error quite a bit. So I'm not really sure exactly what to do with club choice and all that stuff.
There's sort of two options on an uphill lie. Say we could go, if I thought this was a 54 chip into this front flag, I would go down in loft, go down to a pitching wedge, 50 degree, and you can actually lean with the slope. It sounds like you get a bit of struggle with the club getting stuck in.
Yeah.
So here we can say lean with the slope. That's going to increase the loft. Feel a little bit more inside on a drawl pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Try and get a swing in along and up the slope where we're getting that club sliding up the slope. Ball a bit further forward. It's going to come out reasonably high and reasonably soft. That was a pitching wedge. I'd probably use a 50, say, in that instance.
Yep.
Or if you want to stick with the same club, which sounds like a bit more the way you play it, but are struggling with.
Yep.
We can lean into the bank, ball back, but here, obviously where I'm leaning effectively into the slope, in relation to that slope on the ground, my angle of attack is going to be quite steep.
Mm-hmm.
So the follow through is going to, where the club head's getting stuck in the ground, which is good if you've got good low point control. But
sorry,
I'd
mate,
say
just happened.
I would say it's good if you like chipping with one club, but it does come with the risk. Your margin for error is a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And then if you're looking for a sort of a high shot off an upslope to an elevated green, I would go with my most lofted, but I probably won't need to open it up. I would just keep the same loft and do the same thing I did with the pitch and wedge, almost lean back with the slope, a little bit drawy.
So you're just playing 70 degrees on it naturally.
I'm letting the ground do all the work for me.
Yeah.
But I would probably sort of, it's a bit more advanced, the leaning into the slope one, because it is quite easy. Requires, if I just hit that a little bit fat, we get that one quite a lot.
Deja vu, John.
But it's just, I always try and think of slopes as, bar that one shot, if someone was to tilt the camera, so I want it to look like I'm stood on a flat lie.
Mm-hmm.
The same with the down slope. If say that would be my right-handed lie. If you tilt the camera, look like that, it would look like I'm stood on flat lies.
Yeah.
The down slope, if I was left-handed, it would look like I'm stood on a flat lie.
Sweet.
As opposed to leaning back and forward too much into the slopes.
Can I try that?
Let's get you chasing. But would you change club because you're off the upslope, or would you try and?
I would try more get towards changing club. I've probably not changed. I would like go up to a sand wedge where I could probably go up to my gap wedge.
Yeah, because I would try and get out of it of viewing you chip with the club, if that makes sense. I would view it. I'm on an upslope. What flight would I see off a flat lie?
Yeah.
I'd see my 54 degree flight. Okay, well that's probably a 9-iron's probably gonna come off like a 54 because we're on such a steep slope.
Yeah. So, just basically get tilted.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ball a bit further forward.
Yeah.
Because we're generally not going to hit this heavy because there's no ground there.
So there, yeah.
Yeah.
And then just a little draw pattern up the hill. And it's
Get a nice high soft landing.
quite simple when you do it like that, isn't it? I think, I've always just gone, well, I don't want to get the ball too far forward because low point, but if you're playing with a lot of loft and you're literally just going, right, I'm just going to brush this grass up the slope.
Yeah, you want to create margin for error where the club's working a long level with the slope for, I think Andrew Rice says about like landing the plane.
Yeah, so that is all well and good here on the chipping area, but
It's fine if you're confident with that, but you always want the other option of, right, if the ground's super soft and that club's just going to get stuck in there, or the bank gets too steep.
Yeah.
That's it. So I'll tilt the camera with sort of the slope, and it'll look like you're playing almost off of a flat lie.
Actually, really nice. Right, so downslopes was sort of mentioned there. There's been quite a few people mention downslopes, so I'd say let's get into that, shall we? Okay, next up is chip off a steep downhill lie. So Miller House asked this, as well as SB24, Thomas Langton 823, and I think that's all of them. So a lot of people keen to know what to do off a downslope. Sort of just reverse it.
Yeah, but also reverse it with the club choice and maybe what sort of shot you're going to try and play as well. Here the ball's going to come out very hot, very low, very runny through my 60 degree that was almost an 80 when I'm leaning backwards with the slope. Now I'm almost going to turn this more into a pitching wedge, say 9-9.
Yeah.
So if I played my normal shot off a flat line, tried to land it on the top, it's going to go 25 feet past that flag. So you've got to change your landing zones. And then setup wise, ball off the right foot, because all we're being asked here is, right, we need to avoid this bank and try and get that club sliding down the slope for as long as possible. So we go ball back, weight forward, try and get it where, say my spine angle, if that's vertical, it looks like I'm leaning back into the slope. So here I'm trying to get almost 90 degrees to the slope. Weight forward, and the worst thing we can do is try and get some loft on the club or lean back, try and out the ball up in the air. That's just going to be either hitting the ground early or we're going to catch it thin. I'll go slightly wider base off a downslope, so the wider my base is, say if the slope was even steeper, I'd have a real wide stance so I can get my sternum further and further ahead.
Yep, it's interesting.
And then just try and predict what the flight's going to be like. This is a lob wedge, but I'm probably thinking it's more of a pitching wedge. That's come out quite low, quick and runny.
That's a lovely shot there.
But in my head, I'm not playing that as a lob wedge. All my visuals are this is a 9-9 pitching wedge.
Yep.
What you like off the old downslope?
Yeah, so downslope. I mean, in the past I've struggled with this as well. It's just like chipping has been a struggle in the past, and then when it was ever like that, just adds to it, doesn't it? So, yeah, nice and wide.
Yeah, I'd say we could get the ball further back. I'd say you're a bit reluctant to move ball position sometimes in your short game.
Definitely am, yeah. Just because I feel like if I move that, then low point control's good.
But I would say you're not. If you don't move it, your low point's going to change more, because every time you have a different downhill uphill lie, if you kept the ball position the same and didn't change much else, your low point's going to change.
Yeah, that makes sense. So ball pretty much back a stance, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice and wide with the front foot.
Yeah, certainly the steeper the bank gets.
Tilt with it.
That's it.
Happy there?
Because I wouldn't feel I'm pushing my hands forward. I'd feel my hands follow my sternum, if that makes sense.
So there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just trying to get this tracking down the slope, yeah?
Yeah, don't be afraid to move forward through it. We're not trying to hit a high shot here.
Just got to get it going with a bit more pace, but strike was really nice.
I would say, because you have a wide short, your stance a bit too wide in short game in general, I wouldn't apply going wider to you here.
Okay.
Because you're almost constantly trying to narrow your stance.
Yeah. See, that one's where...
Just go slightly longer.
Okay.
I would view all your short game shots as miniature versions of the other week when we're doing those long soft shots.
Okay.
Let the club just flow through. Slightly longer follow through. That's better.
It's definitely a lot nicer, that.
Let's go on then, pick a landing spot. Because I would say the first and the last shot you played were perfect strikes. Like, technically you played them lovely.
Yep.
But landing spot, maybe club selection, right, we've only got 2 clubs here. would be the wrong things, as opposed to technique.
So landing zone pretty much halfway up the bank.
Yep.
Then at the bottom.
But this is where I'd say getting into the visuals of.
Yeah.
And here it's quite tough because we're chipping off a downslope into an upslope of a green that's soft. Then it's going to roll over and downhill. Lovely shot. Oh. But I think for you, it's getting more into where am I landing it? What club am I going to use off of this lie to paint the picture?
Yeah.
I think sometimes you get bogged down on the technical area.
Bogged down on low point and strike.
Yeah, and you hit 2 lovely strikes that are an absolute waste of time because you hadn't. Right, that's where I want to land it. That's where I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
That's a pitch and wedge flight off of this. That's going to be a 7-iron off the upslope, a lob wedge off the downslope.
To get more into the visuals and the feel.
So you don't waste your really nice shots.
Yeah. Do one more, that's quite nice. So ball back, get the tilts, don't get the arms too far in front, but the visuals.
Good.
Right, Steve, I think this would be a good one. Rory Thompson 638. Should you chip/pitch with 1 or 2 clubs max, or a variety of different lofts? Based on how much carry run you want, what method is best?
I think using a variety of lofts for the fact that they're only ever the same golf club when you're chipping off of a flat lie, like we discussed earlier in the downhill uphills. This 60 degree, if I'm off a downslope, is my 8-iron. If it's off an upslope, my 8-iron's almost going to come off like my sand wedge. So I think getting used to chipping with different clubs, seeing different landing zones, and just trying to keep with a similar technique.
Yeah, and you were saying as well, like last week when we were doing the short game stuff, launch monitor out, intergrain, downgrain, different flights.
Yeah, it's flights you're looking for.
Flights, yeah, and then picking the club around that.
What questions you're being asked and what shots, what flight, what lie. Whereas I think if you just stick with one club, you've got to get very good, moving ball position a lot, moving hand positions a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Getting a really consistent strike, reading lies perfectly.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if you can change club in the right direction, do you know what I mean? If my favourite club's from 52 to chip with, say, and it's like, well, I want to use my left lofted clubs when that is the right answer. So you're building more room for error with a bad shot because I've picked the right questions. I don't want to be going up to my 56 lob wedge when I should be going maybe down the other way to make life a little bit easier.
Yeah. So I think basically you try to start with the visual first, isn't it?
Yeah.
See the flight, see what you're trying to do. Right, so for instance, playing from that ball bag.
It's a bit harsh.
Shag bag. I get demonetised for saying that. But say you're playing from the bag of balls over this fringe to this green. You've got plenty of room. You try to envision the flight, then look at the lie.
Yeah.
See what the questions are there.
I would sort of look at lie first.
Okay.
Then go, what shots can I hit from there?
Right. Yeah.
Then I'd look at flat areas of the green. Right, what's sort of the biggest, flattest area I can land it on? Which flat might mean, say in that instance a minute ago, we had what I would call a flat upslope. It's quite a long upslope, a big area to land it in.
Yeah, where you're getting the same results.
I know I'm going to hit the same banks and I've got 8 yards to land it in. And then I generally, say if it's dead flat, everything's flat, it's like, right, I'll try and land the ball a yard, 2 yards on the green and just pick a club that I can land that 2 yards on the green. The choice of club's going to do the work for me.
Yeah.
Than chopping and changing where I'm. Some people say use one club because you get so used to the speed, the ball comes off. But then I think, well, you've also then got to get so used to changing landing area every time.
Yeah.
Whereas when you change clubs, the ball comes off in different speeds and rolls at different speeds, but your landing zone can stay the same.
Yeah, and it's all well and good saying that, but like, yeah, when it's saying like the club's the same speed, I mean. But then, like when Steve was showing me how different the ball comes off of intergrain versus downgrain, it's not the same club produces the same result at all, is it?
Because the ball might come off at the speed, but one's launching up like that and one's launching
Yeah.
flat, they're going to react totally differently.
So read the lie, see what's possible, then pick an area that's got a nice amount of margin for error in it.
Yeah.
So like a nice flat bit uphill or downhill, and then you're trying to really piece together what kind of club goes for that trajectory. And
try and pick the least fanciest shot that if I paid a 4 out of 10 strike and execution, I'm still going to get a result that's within 8 feet. So
Yeah.
for me is how I'd look at it.
looking back at, in Seve, everyone goes on about Seve's short game.
Yeah.
He used to just play the most simple shot the majority of the time, didn't he?
Yeah,
Looking
he would
at the way
generally
he
not try and
pitched.
spin it. He would do it a lot with flight.
Yeah.
Try and picture the ball rolling. Whereas I think sometimes on TV, certainly you'll see the ball spin a lot, but a lot of that is super tight fairways.
It's ground conditions, isn't it?
Yeah, like when the shots we play in South Africa on Kikuyu,
I know,
you can't play that here.
Yeah.
And sometimes, we play totally different shots there because you can, but also because you have to.
Yeah. But the average golfer watching this video is going to be playing more similar ground conditions and conditions that Seve was playing on,
Yeah,
where the greens
100%.
aren't very quick,
Yeah.
and you got normal lies rather than Kikuyu and soft, very quick greens where you can get it to rip from 20 yards.
Say
You know?
in the States, you generally see the guys chipping with reasonably lofted wedges, but they are chipping onto rock hard, lightning fast greens off really tight surrounds.
Yeah.
So that ball is going to launch low with a lob wedge compared to club golf, where the ball's going to launch higher. They would be using more of a 50 degree, the greens are softer, they're not as quick. So it's factoring in all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Right, so next up we got Titan Tim. What a boy. Titan Tim 27. He asks, fringe with rough behind the ball, how to play them when they nestle up against the longer stuff. It's an awkward one, isn't it?
It is an awkward one, certainly if the fringe is tight.
Is that...
That wasn't me, I've given up smoking.
Go on.
So it's an awkward one, because especially if the fringe is tight, because you've got speed to get through the grass, through the grass and get strike.
Yeah.
Then you don't have much room for error under the ball. So as opposed to chipping it, I would probably recommend using like the leading edge of the wedge, because that's quite... the club's not getting so deep into the grass. We can brush this top of the grass, hit the middle of the ball with the leading edge of the wedge.
Talking my language now, mate.
Yeah.
I love the old Texas wedge.
Try and line it up in the middle. Generally a putting grip, putting technique. It's probably going to come out with quite a bit of topspin.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that is a scenario where you might only be 5 yards away, but it's actually a really hard shot.
Yeah.
It's learning, just because you're close doesn't mean it's a hard... Sometimes the closer you get, the harder the shots are. Certainly short-sided, and when lies don't match up with the sort of shot you're being asked to play.
Yeah.
You'd love a Texas wedge, wouldn't you?
Oh, I love it. I'm right at home with it.
You ever go with the hybrid or not?
Nah, I've always just gone with this option, to be fair. Is that similar?
Yeah, you're the master at
A
this.
lot of rough there.
So if the rough is really long, I'd start just moving it up the ball more, where I'm almost going to hit it above the equator.
Come out more
It's going to top spin a load. I don't need to swing it too quick.
I try and get this quite a way back, and then just really practice swing. I'm really just getting a feel for brushing the top of that rough. Like really trying to nail that.
Because you're better off on... Oh, he's done it. Oh,
It's a shot I play quite a bit.
the master. But you're better off hitting more of the top of the ball than as soon as you get too far under the ball here, you're defeating the purpose.
Going to stop the rough, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there we go, Titan Tim. I felt like we should have saved this next one till last, but seeing as the Thai spinner's going to be last, I feel like this is... I mean, this is just... When I read this, I was like, Jesus, mate. So, Josh Clay G, or Josh Clage, probably a G on the end.
Glad you had that one.
50 yards to a short-sided pin off a wet bare lie. It's the stuff of nightmares.
That is. Should we go and try and find one?
Should we try and find it? Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to bring my/your lob wedge for this one. I'm waiting on a delivery. This is so this is basically everything that scares me. So we got a pitch in which it's not a full pitch, so I'm like in between. So my low point I always struggled with for this,
Yeah.
because I'm not like full speed using my body getting through it, so it's just something that I struggled with in the past.
You might need more balls to this one.
And off a wet bear lie, which is tough enough as it is, just because it just makes low point control very important, or doing the right thing
This
with
would
the
be
club.
one where you would definitely look at what's an okay outcome. Maybe stop trying to get the ball close from here, hit it. A, get the ball on the green. B, make sure it's past the flag. Don't leave yourself another chip or a pitch.
Especially as he's said that it's to a tight pin as well.
Yeah.
Because this is where you're not really looking at a tight pin at all. You're trying to give yourself some sort of cut.
So if we were chipping pitch into this front flag, where it's only say 5 or 6 on, you know, I'd probably be playing to a flag back here where I've got another extra 8, 9, 10 yards of room for error for strike.
Yeah.
Because this doesn't match up with summertime when it's bare and tight and dry and you've got big room for error. Winter time when it's soft and stuff, it's a lot trickier.
Yeah. So Josh, you're obviously a bit of a sadist or a masochist, whichever one. You probably know it. Which one's the? You're probably I don't know, just a bit evil, this question, but this is what we got. Bare and pretty wet. Yeah, this ground is soft at the moment. We've got 50, we got a front pin, and Steve's gonna fire away.
And a nervous golfer. So firstly, it's a real high risk shot. I would try and manage the situation as opposed to probably hit a good shot, if that makes sense. So if it's 50 yards but there's 20 yards of green behind it, I'll just hit the thing middle of the green and try and two putt.
Yeah.
But if you want to try and get it close, you're going to have to go ball a little bit further back. Again, don't push the hands forward. The hands always sort of just follow the ball position.
Okay.
Whereas I see some people sort of move it back a little bit and then excessively push the hands
And that
forward.
can get the tilt going that way, can't
Then
it?
we're into almost the more I push my right hand forward, the lower my shoulder gets.
The dead
more
zone.
I tilt away.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to get heavy strikes or spins.
Yeah.
I'd probably stand a little bit closer to it. So we're looking to put ingredients that are going to steepen the angle of attack and sort of steepen the swing plane. Get a little bit closer, ball back. Ball's going to come off low if I strike it.
Okay.
And really low if I thin it. But I try and it's going to come off a little bit quicker, bit of a short, sort of aggressive motion. Try and get ball first.
Oh, that's so good.
I'll take that one.
It's landed a yard on.
But again, there, like the club got stuck in the ground, but that's not me trying to stop it.
So are you not? Can I jump in?
You can jump straight in there, mate. I'm glad to get out of there. I'm one and done.
So
But you could also. There's a bit of a different way. I'll say about in a minute.
Toe up and stuff. Toe down.
Changing club, going maybe because that come off low anyway.
Yeah.
So I might. Well, we play one like.
As you said.
Yeah.
Because a lot of stuff I've heard about really tight lies is just to get the toe in the ground as much as possible.
Certainly on a real short chip.
Gets hard from
Bit more of a pitch. I'd just go half an inch closer. You don't want to go too far away from what's familiar here.
Yeah.
Because then you're almost if you went really extreme, you're almost so uncomfortable that you're losing your ability to strike the ball.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a blend of a bit uncomfortable, but I also want to have some clue about I've got half a chance of getting a strike.
So recently you've got me from
Yeah.
here to here, so I've got to make sure I'm there.
Yeah, this is left shoulder low, sternum ahead.
Like ball there.
Yeah, don't feel you push your hands too much.
Okay. And then
That's good.
Just try and strike it from there.
Okay, so that was a bit.
So can you tell me what happened there?
That was a bit quick in transition. Hands got too far ahead. That shortens the club shaft. The more you push your hands ahead, effectively, the shorter you're making that club. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So that's just really nervy, just trying to trap
Yeah.
it. And
Like I wouldn't search for a strike here. I would not care if I duff it or thin it.
okay.
I'll try and do a good motion. You looks like
Oh, so
I really need to strike this.
Yeah. That's literally where I'll be, especially when there's a tournament. You know, it's like, and then it's even worse.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I've got
I
to
would
strike
try and
it.
play this in a more relaxed way. If I duffed mine halfway, I'm like, that's not my technique. It's a bloody hard shot.
Yeah. Okay.
So don't get quite so close.
Ball there.
For you. Yeah.
And then just.
We don't need to swing it quick because the ball's going to come off hot anyway.
Okay. Just smooth it out then, yeah.
Yeah. For you, it's almost taking your aggression out. It's better.
And
Shot.
That's literally perfect.
But that's where, say, the videos can be a bit hard because I'm talking about being aggressive. But most of the time for you, I'll be like, rein your speed and aggression in. Let's soften things up a little bit more. And again, aggressive doesn't mean swing it as quick as you can. Just means a light acceleration.
Yeah.
We want to be aggressive with keeping the body turning, etc., not trying to flick the hands at it.
So tilts, ball back, and then just.
That's it. Allow the trunk to turn for you. Okay. Feel like you're hitting it with your chest.
Oh, that's just
much better. Or if you get your 54, which I did bring down for you because I'm a good caddy. You can go the other way where you're maybe going to get a bit more room for error if you hit the ground first.
Do you want me to demo this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So right, this I would say that's like ball back, everything steep, trying to get ball first.
Yep.
Here we're going to go more ball in the middle of the stance.
Okay.
Not much shaft lean. Just try and feel like a nice wide arc, not much wrist hinge.
Yeah.
If we hit this an inch heavy, the goal would be we've got a bit more bounce, we're shallow, the club's going to slide a little bit.
Okay.
So this is where I'd use my practice swings for, say, the top layer's a bit soft, underneath a bit firmer. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So nice and smooth and just wide.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
It does
See how
slide.
you slid that?
Yeah.
Good. 'Cause that's almost going to go higher than your back foot 60, if that makes sense. And you're probably going to get a bit more room for error.
I would have never thought of playing that.
Whereas, well, your obvious answer is I need as much loft as I can, but you've got to think about what the sole's offering you.
So it does literally, having that sand wedge with a bit more bounce.
Yeah.
Or 54.
Yeah. Say if...
That's enough bounce on a wet, muddy lie, as long as you're smooth and wide to...
Yeah, you've got... It's similar to the... I'd say what we did here was like that uphill lie shot.
Yeah.
The first ones were almost leaning into it. The club's going to dig into the ground, not having much room for error, but probably might get a better result on the good ones. It's weighing up how many good ones, bad ones you're going to hit. This, you might get down to your 52, something with a lot more bounce. You can just open it up a touch.
Yeah.
Trying to create the room for error. I can hit it 1.5 inches behind the ball.
Yeah.
The club's going to slide through. It might come up 10 yards short. Whereas the other one, lob wedge back, if you hit that 1/4 inch fat, it's probably going to go halfway.
Yeah.
So it's building in a little bit what a good and bad shot would look like.
I'm buzzing about that. There you go, mate. Give that a try. Yeah, if I can do that, then you can, mate. All right. Right. I think that was literally such good information there. So I hope you're enjoying this. And the last one of the day, we saved this one for you, and it's the Thai spinner, and it was JPX ST180 S6. It's like a postcode. The Thai spinner.
Yeah, I'm no pro at this one.
Wrong continent for you, mate.
Yeah. Well, you need ball miles back, club face a little bit open. And what you're trying to do is get it very low on the face and a bit heely.
Okay.
So I go
and then riding up?
Hands low and forward. And it's literally feel like, right, almost, I would try and picture that I get the club vertical.
Okay.
And drop it down vertical. So you don't need a lot of speed. That was a bit high. Not much spin.
Yeah, it's got a fair bit of check on it.
Yeah, you got better in there. You can have a go in a minute.
Oh no, you're on this one. I'll have one go, but
That's a better one.
that's nice. Yeah.
I did say catch it at the net. Ah, poppy.
It's tough, but this is one where it's like ground conditions. If you've got the tightest Bermuda,
Yeah, if you're in Spain or Portugal,
and you've got spinny greens that like grab, then you could get a ball really starting low, a lot of spin, and then grabbing on the greens quickly. But with English meadow grass,
yeah,
that's what it's called.
high and poppy.
High and
Go on,
poppy,
what
yeah.
do you get? But like messing around with stuff like this is so good for your short game.
Yeah.
Like you're probably never going to try and play that too often, but it's like, right, getting, like you say, getting the flexibility, move your ball all over the place. Right, can I hit the ground where I want to hit it?
This is where it's funny. You'd hear some people like, oh, don't play around too much. Like, just try and get.
No, well, you think what
shots.
kids do?
Yeah.
Kids just go and mess things up constantly. They'll be chipping out of trees and stuff, and then when they're not very good at golf, say, and then a year later, well, he's got a bloody good short game. It's like, well, I'm not surprised he could up and down it from under a leaf. I think here, where it's not so tight, to get the flight, you'd almost have to hood the face, but that's not the objective of the tie spinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, almost hit me in the.
Tie spinner. That was the Finland flopper. But yeah, that's...
It's not easy.
Nearly. It's a hair thin. But for you, I think it's brilliant to mess around with.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's going to be harder to get the shot off the slightly fluffier grass.
Is it?
If you went off the green, say, obviously you're not going to dig the green up, but it's a lot easier to get that low. Oh, there we go.
Ooh, quite nice.
Wish I ever see. If I had a camera with zoom, I would have got in on that.
Old Spielberg on.
Uh,
Bit softer.
yeah, because you can generate loads of ball speed through lack of loft. It's just getting that. So that was probably a groove or two too high to be perfect.
Oh,
but even messing around, like you can learn, move it up and down the face.
Yeah.
I'd say just in that little example, you've gone from a little chubby flop shot to like starting to learn, right, I can catch this thin, I can catch this shot.
All right, so that is it. I hope you've enjoyed that. I mean, I feel like there's so much value there. It's a joke. But yeah, I like giving back to the YouTube community. So I hope that we answered your question, if you put one in. And time to go to South Africa, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, well, for you, I'm just hibernating for the winter inside.
Right, see you on the next one.